Now, Irina, the floor is yours for the Black Sea.
Good morning, dear colleagues. It is my pleasure to be on this stage again, and now I will be presenting you the results of the joint work of our smallest, but therefore, I think, very effective Black Sea group. So the group consisted of 18 people, and I would like to take this chance again and thanks each and every participant for their dedication and for their very valuable contribution to our joint work. Although my presentation would not contain all the measures that yesterday we modified and introduced some of them, I would just concentrate on top 5 measures, but believe me, if it comes to the implementation, or development and then further implementation of the Black Sea Strategic Action Plan on marine litter, all these measures will be taken on board, and that's why, I would like to thank you once again. So the session was chaired by myself, moderated by Leo, as Astrid yesterday said, just Leo, because he doesn't need any presentation, and he was also assisted by Tony. Unfortunately, we had only 2 Black Sea countries represented. It was Romania and Turkey, and also if indirectly you consider myself as Ukrainian, that Ukraine was also on board, it was 3 of the 6 Black Sea countries there. So, but also I would like to assure you that coming back home as the Secretariat, we will for sure circulate the results and outcomes of all the sessions of this distinguished conference, a message from Berlin, and all the Black Sea countries would at least know what happened here, and they would know that such a regional plan would sooner or later come up. So I would like to start with the step 1 regarding the consistency of resources and amounts of marine litter. I would like to thank again the participants for the consensus that we reached. We all agreed that the sources are mostly the land-based sources, meaning the tourism and waste management. So these are the key problems for the Black Sea region. But then, during the discussion, we came to the conclusion that since we have such a lack of the data in the Black Sea region, maybe there could be some other sources of pollution that may come or are already coming to the region, but we just simply don't know about that. And then we thought that maybe the transboundary nature of the marine litter, which was mentioned actually in the Turkish report, that many of the items that come to Turkish border, they are marked with some other countries' labels. Also, we just, when we were drafting the issue paper, we forgot that the riverine inputs are really, let's say, considerable. Don't forget about the Danube, which some people consider the most, the significant contributor to the pollution, let's say, of the Black Sea. Also some Turkish rivers, Ukrainian rivers, etc. So we decided to add into the item 1 of the issue paper also these important new factors. Regarding the step 2, the possible operational measures, so we also added some targets. I will not be presenting them here, but if you will have a wish to see them, we can then present it later in a separate paper. So we were also having discussion and came to the idea that since we have a lack of the monitoring and assessment, this can be the first step in our hierarchy of the targets. But then other participants said that, that meanwhile you will be developing this assessment methodologies, you can forget about the real actions and real measures to be taken. So we decided that meanwhile the no-regret measures will be taken by countries. And then after the implementation and adaptation of the assessment methodologies will take place, we could really assess the level of marine litter, then we can really provide the monitoring, and then can really see if we reached our targets or not. So we also decided that the agreement on targets on sources is more valuable. So here, because the marine litter will be coming from landfills and also from the beach, that's why the methodologies can vary. Again, we came to the conclusions that since we have the information gaps, it will make it difficult for us to set the further targets. The targets at regional sea level would need to be translated into more specific targets at national and local levels. So for that purpose, the further measures that we were introducing, they were ranked, and we also looked down from the perspective if they are local, if they are regional, or if they are national, because this will be also important for us to rank the targets. Coming to the item 3, the measures and actions, the group agreed it was important to identify the level of management for each measure. As I said, we were trying to make a brainstorm if this measure will be just purely local, or it will require some national involvement, or maybe it will be enforced if the regional forces, here we mean the Regional Sea Convention and also the European Commission to some extent, because as you know, only 2 countries of the Black Sea are members to the European Union. So here we had some brainstorm, and therefore we added some more measures into our analysis. So I would like to present you now the top 5 measures after we ranked them, and we also decided to leave it to the decision makers to make the further cost analysis of the measures. We just decided to give a full list of them based on their effectiveness or their expected effectiveness, and then the decision makers could really take a decision if it will be cost effective to implement this measure or not. So the first one was the improved waste and landfill management. So we decided that this will be national and local responsibility, although of course the regional efforts could help to force the countries maybe to enforce the legislation, maybe to look at some other instruments available, because as you may understand, the waste management is not really the subject of the Convention on the Protection of the Black Sea Against Pollution, but of course, since these issues are cross-cutting, we could really, in our future draft, in our future strategic action plan for the marine litter, we could really emphasize these issues as well. The second top 5 measure was the education and outreach activities, and all the participants, of course, distinguished the land sources campaigns that are needed to be held and the sea-based sources, because the sea-based sources campaigns would be having more professional character, and the land-based sources campaigns could really have a focus on children, on teenagers, and bring some behavioral changes. So this second measure will be mostly, as we decided, the national responsibility. So the third top 5 measure is the refund system for bottles and packaging. The group came to the conclusion that this is mostly the national responsibility, because this is most related to introduction of some legal measures. The fifth top measure was the raising awareness, mostly among professionals across the sectors, including in coastal municipalities. During the discussion, we realized that sometimes some legal or financial measures are taken on the regional level, let's say on the level of convention or the European Commission. Many measures are taken then on the national level, but it is not always coming to the municipality level. So sometimes municipalities are we also need to guide them somehow. So we decided to have some extra campaigns on raising the awareness of the coastal municipalities, telling them about the marine litter, maybe introducing some new best available techniques or so on and so forth. So, and then we realized that the measure number 1, which was actually drafted meanwhile we prepared for the conference, it was the development of the regional strategic action plan for marine litter, and I was very upset because nobody ever came to this measure, and nobody ranked this even once. But then I pulled down and I realized that this is kind of a global goal that we need to reach. Of course, people were concentrating on some measures which would give the fastest result. I realized then that if we would collect all the measures that we ranked, maybe we'll add some additional things. I think this could be actually this draft strategic action plan for the Black Sea that we could adopt and then successfully implement. So that's why I added this afterwards, that the group agreed that establishing a regional action plan on marine litter for the Black Sea is indeed needed. So thanks once again to the participants. I think they also enjoyed their input into our joint work. Thanks a lot for intention to have a consensus on the measures that we were developing and modifying. And I would like to thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irina. Probably there could be an interesting aspect in cooperating with HELCOM and sharing experiences with HELCOM because of the similar nature of the two seas. This could be, Mikhail, something to put ties together. So the last presentation is done by Maria from the Mediterranean. The floor is yours.